Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to start off giving all honor, glory, and praise and worship to our power. YAHWAH, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. That my honors to our apostle, elders, and bishops, great millstone, rule well, peace, citation, hope, elect. It's your brother Kadash, representing the GMS branch here in Cleveland, Lord willing, to bring out an edifying lesson through the spirit and power of YAHWAH. And just real quick, I tried to do this lesson earlier, the spirit wanted it to come out right now. So, through the spirit and power of YAHWAH, the title of this lesson is Esau is a man of war, and war is what he's gonna get, man. You know what I'm saying? War is what he's gonna get. War is what he knows, and war is what he's gonna get. This man is a man of blood, and that's exactly what his fate is. His fate consists of, right? Matter of fact, through the spirit, let's see. Let me get this real quick. I'm gonna play this video because YAHWAH himself said, it's Matthew chapter 26, verse 42. Then said YAHWAH unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all that take the sword shall perish with the sword. You see, so Esau is known as the sword of the Lord, man. Let me see. Let me show you that real quick. Because Esau relies on his blessing. His blessing is to be real skillful with the sword. You know what I'm saying? This is Psalms 37:14. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of a right in conversation. You see, the wicked is who? Malachi what? When you go to the book of Malachi, chapter 1, it says, excuse me, it says, let's just read for Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus to the Lord of hosts, meaning the Lord of armies, they should build, but I will throw down, and they should call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom YAHWAH shall have indignation forever. So Edom is the border, meaning beginning and the end of all wickedness that exists on the earth. He embodied all religions, gods, and a compilation of these things, and formed himself into the beast that he is, which he was created to be. And he's the start and end, right? Meaning what? He's the epitome of wickedness, and he's gonna end, and it's gonna end with him. He's gonna be put under our feet. So Edom is the border of wickedness. So we just read Psalms 37:14. The wicked have drawn out thy sword. So the wicked have drawn out the sword, meaning Esau. Okay, Esau is the wicked, and the sword is what he's been blessed with. You understand? When you go to Genesis 27, all right, and Genesis 27 and verse 39, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, in my fact, it's 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing? My father bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, like he always do, like a biznotch. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, which he has now. He has the oil. You see, he just captured and kidnapped what is his name? Maduro, right? Because Venezuela has a lot of a big oil reserve, all right? It says it sits on a lot of oil. Fatness of the earth and of the dew of and of the dew of heaven from above. All right. It says, and by the sword, and by thy sword shalt thou live. You see, that's what has been placed on the Edomite. Sword meaning destruction. Sword meaning war. Sword meaning weapon. And by thy sword shalt thou live. That's his power. That's his strength. It talk about in Jeremiah how he's the hammer of the whole earth. He meaning what? Beat people into submission by the means of what? His sword. His blessing. That's what we're reading here in Genesis 27. By thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, and that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And that happened, you know, after King David had the Edomites in captivity, right? And then the result of that will be under King Solomon, 40 years of peace. And then after that, Edomites were broken free, all right, and from captivity. All right, and then they did what they did, you know, and even now, you know, they were, Revelation 20, they were loose for a little season. You can apply it to now, all right, qualify for now. The yoke was broke off their neck, right? Because we were the, what you would call the Moors, right? The Israelites calling themselves Moors. We went under the Islamic regime or the Islamic understanding, and then we called ourselves Moors, and we dominated Rome at a particular time, Eastern Rome, right, at the time, and we called it was known as the Byzantine Empire or the Dark Ages, right, when we were dominating and Esau were in subjection. And then the scriptures say, Revelation 20, where they were loose this little season, and this is the little season that they were loose, right? Rome got reborn, right? The revival of Rome, and this is Rome 2.0. And here we are today. So like I forgot where I was going. What priest I was about to grab. Con to whatever. I'm shy. So real quick, this is First Maccabees 1:3. It says, and went through the end to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. Who is this talking about? Let's go jump up to verse 1. First Maccabees 1:1. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, which is known as, if I'm not mistaken, what is it? Italy, I believe. Italy had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, as Darius III, that he reigned in his stead first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth. How do you slew the kings of the earth? By the way of the sword, man. And went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, women, land, okay, riches, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. Why did he do that? Through his military, through his might, through his power, and his military, man. Okay, so Esau is the sword, the whipping stick of the Lord, that had put the scourges or the lashes, if you will, towards the nation of Israel. You know, so and in verse 4 it says, and he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And how did he do that? The earth was quiet before him. By the means of what? By the means of military. All right. So let's just show you. This is from Gator Schnapper Rothschild, 1753 through 1849, wife of Meyer Amschel Rothschild. All right. If my sons did not want wars, there will be none. So the fact that there are wars, meaning that they want them. It's a scripture, not a scripture, but a quote, right, by Franklin D. Roosevelt. It says, in politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. So the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, and all these different families, they are all related. They're all Edomites. And they rule the world. They dominate the world, okay? And the fact that it's war is because they want war, mainly because YAHAWASHI want war. And war is how new systems are brought about. War is how currency is changed. War is how new systems is placed. War is how dominance is gained. War is how change happen. War is how, all right, you push your vibration upon people. Aren't we bringing war to the Edomite family? Aren't we bringing war to the world? Yes, Yahawashi is proclaiming war against the nations and professing war against the nations, right? It started when the prophets received the breath and back into them, and war was declared in 1969 when Abba Bivens, our forefather, Abba Bivens, our beloved Abba Bivens, our elder brother Abba Bivens, came on the scene and bridged the gap, all right, as prophesied, being through the spirit that we believe through Elijah, all right, bridging the gap between who? The Father and the Sons, bringing the full doctrine into the earth, and it was watered. And then you had what? One West, and then you had what? Then you had our apostle and elders, and then you had what? Us, all right? That's how it goes, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So like I said, in politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way, right? So I'm gonna play this quick video real quick for you. Let this play, and then
6 months in, see, and here we are, turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of War 3 because the entire world is going to. 6 months in, see, and here we are, turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag draped coffins on the nightly news, on Fox News that brainwashes all the baby boomers, and on CNN that brainwashes all the Democrat baby boomers. And that is exactly how this is going to go down. And 6 months.
let me play that back.
Of Israel, we're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag draped coffins on the nightly news, on Fox News that brainwashes all the baby boomers, and on CNN that brainwashes all the Democrat baby boomers. And that is exactly how this is going to go down. And 6 months.
Right. So she's saying that
War 3, because the entire world is going to. 6 months in, see, and here we are, turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel.
Right, the scripture said the least of the flock should draw them out. Okay. Again, at the title of this lesson, war is what he knows, and war is what he's gonna get, man. This is what he wants.
We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt.
Right, and that's what's gonna happen. Why would the entire world erupt? Because that's the prophecy, man. You understand? The Lord said he would put hooks in our jaws, and he was gonna draw them to the land of Yahawah, the land of Jehoshaphat, meaning the land of judgment, the Lord's judgment. The Lord is drawing them to the land of judgment, man. Okay? War is going to happen whether you want to believe it, like it or not. Okay? World War III is inevitable. This is Revelations 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael, and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. You see? It's going to be a war in heaven, man. This is that war in heaven that Christians often talk about. You understand what I'm saying? The war in heaven is getting ready to happen. It didn't happen already. Satan didn't fall from heaven and, he had a beef with the Lord and all that weird shit. You know what I'm saying? No, Satan obliged by the rules and the regulations of Yahawah. He don't move or act unless Yahawah or Yahawah sanctions it, man. You understand? Okay, and prevail not. They're not going to win this war. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven. So it's getting ready to be a war in heaven. You understand? It's getting ready to be a war in heaven. All right, Yahawashi and the angels are going to fight against the dragon and his angels, which is his military. All right. And that's what you're getting ready to witness here. I did a testimony on it. I saw the plane. It said U.S. military on it. And I saw it get blown to smithereens by a chariot. Yes, through the spirit and power of YAHWASHI. He saw that. He put that in my mind. And I did a testimony on it. So, it's Revelations 9:6. Saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in a great river Euphrates, and the Euphrates rivers is dried up as we speak. All right, and that's what the Lord said. He will drive the Euphrates rivers to prepare the kings of the east. All right, so that they can go on dry ground. All right, the Euphrates rivers is a big body and mass of river that covers a large land mass, and the Lord dried it up so that man can walk upon it to fight for his cause. It says in verse 15, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. The third part of men will be Esau, Edom. You got classifications of man. All right, and then the third part of man will be the Edomites. All right, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000 and thousand. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000 thousand. And I heard the number of them. Right, it's 200,000 thousand. 200. What is it? 200 million, if I'm not mistaken. You know, missiles that's going to be shot on Babylon the Great. Talk about that in Second Esdras, but the archer, the missile shot. All right, they're not gonna come back. Right, they're gonna hit his target, bro. You don't what missile or what arrow you've ever seen do a boomerang effect? None. And this is what the Lord is saying. He's gonna shoot those missiles. Every country is building up their arsenal when it comes to nuclear warheads, and they're gonna shoot it on America, man. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issue fire and smoke and brimstone. Right, because it's talking about the nuclear warheads. It's talking about the ICBM missiles, because it has what is it called? It has a system to it, right? And that system produces warheads, and it's warheads within warheads. So you understand? There's warheads and it's missiles within those warheads, right? You have one warhead, if I'm not mistaken, that can hold different missiles, right? They look like arrows, right? When you look at them, that's why the scriptures describe them as arrows, and they're shot in the head of lions, right? Because their strength and the power is in the head. Okay, once it hit the ground, that's the power that produces the effect. All right. And out of their mouths issue fire and smoke and brimstone, because it's talking about the propelling system. It's talking about the structure and the makeup of these missiles, man. All right, what it entails, right? All right, the fire and the smoke that come out the back and the warhead. It's describing how and what is going to take place on America and the planet Earth, man. And the results is by these three, verse 18, Revelations 9 and 18, by these three was a third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouth. You understand? So, hey, this man won war, and war is what he's going to get. You can read, I didn't bring it out, but you can read 2 Esdras 13, the war in heaven, about the war in heaven between Yahawashi and his angels. I close with this. Behold, Jeremiah 30 and 23. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahawashi go forth with fury. You see that? A continual whirlwind. The whirlwind is going to be them chariots, man. The whirlwind is going to be them chariots, all right? It says, it shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. Who's the head of the wicked? The elites, the Edomites, but the elites of the Edomites, the elites of these niggas, man. It's gonna fall. This time the Lord, first he cut the tail off. You see, but the snake kept growing. It grew into a dragon. We go into the etymology of dragon, meaning the study and the truth of words. It says a huge serpent. Okay, so the dragon is a huge serpent, and he's getting ready to. Well, obviously he's exposing himself, and he's telling you who he is. But the head of that snake, the head of that is the elites, man, the elite bankers, man. All right, and the Lord is going to fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. It says the fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until you have done it, until you have performed the intents of his hearts. In the latter days you should consider it. You see, hold up. It says the fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. You understand what I'm saying? So in the latter days, which we are currently in, that's what's going on. The Lord is performing the intents of his heart, meaning this is what the Lord intended to happen. You understand? He intended for this to happen. It's the fierce anger of the Lord, and it shall not return. That's what it talks about in 2nd Ezra, man, about that archer being shot. All right, who can return it? It says, 2nd Ezra 16 and 11. The Lord shall threaten who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. See, that's what we just kind of read, you know, through the Spirit, man. The Lord is, this is a tense of the Lord's heart. It said the earth quake it, right? Because these missiles are going to shake the whole earth. And the foundation is going to be a major earthquake. And it's going to shake the lands back into place type shit, you know? The earth quaketh and the foundations thereof. The sea arises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, right? These islands is going to be consumed as well. And the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and his shall not miss. When it began to be shot into the ends of the world, and the arrows are these missiles, man. Okay, the arrows are these missiles and plagues and different things that the Lord has sanctioned for the last days, sanctioned for the end times, sanctioned for days of trouble, sanctioned for World War III, sanctioned for salvation, sanctioned for perilous times, sanctioned according to the end time prophecies, man. And they're not going to miss. Once you shoot that bolt, it do not return. It do not come back unto you with the boomerang effect. It hits its target. All right? It hits its target. It was shot with aim. It was shot with precision. It was shot with momentum. It was shot with purpose. And that's what the Lord is doing to America. That's what the Lord is doing to the earth. Because when you go to 1 Corinthians 15, it says the last enemy to be conquered is death. And death is going to be put under the feet of YAHWASHI. That's what the scriptures say. So did these arrows, meaning these ICBM missiles, the warheads, the war is not going to miss. America will get touched pursuant to the scriptures. And obviously, when we read Isaiah 47, it talks about this place being touched. The old virgin daughter of Babylon sitting in the dust, man. It's going to be brought to desolation. It's going to be brought to confusion. All right. It's going to be a confusing thing to see other forms of military outside of the U.S. touching in America's soils, bombs hitting America, and so forth. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'd like to give all honor and glory for the praise and worship to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Double honors to our apostle, elder bishop, the great millstone. Peace, citation, hopefully. Till next time, Shalom.